Hey y'all, welcome to Pleiadian Point of View. I'm Peyton with Peyton Energetics, and I'm a Pleiadian channel and starseed coach. So in today's POV, the Pleiadians wanted to talk to us about what they refer to as the financial enslavement template on our planet. And this is a huge topic, so this video will be a minute or two longer than you're used to, but this is a really important subject for us to understand right now. It gets to the heart of some of those things that are the biggest problems we have as humans right now. And so the P's want to help us understand what this template is and how we can start to remove our consent to it. But before we jump into talking about financial enslavement on this planet, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button if you haven't done that yet. So, as humans, one of the things that is kind of the definition of being a human on this planet is we have certain things that we think are the ground rules of being human, right? They're the foundation of the human experience. Those things that we think are just the rules of being human. And some of these are energies that the Pleiadians often refer to as planetary templates. And what they mean by that is this is just a massive planetary energy. So this is like a blanket that lays over every single human being, whether they know about it or not. And it kind of binds us because planetary templates, which we touched on in 2 videos back, I think it was. So go back and check that out if you missed the one that explained this in detail. But planetary templates are essentially something you can think of as being similar to a massive collective contract that we opted into just by being born into human bodies. So these are massive planetary energies that are pretty tricky to get out of. Pretty hard to imagine being human and not having to work for money. So that is the template that we're talking about today, which we sometimes refer to as the financial enslavement template on this planet. Because one of the foundational illusions of living on Earth right now is the belief that we have to work to survive. Can you even imagine not believing that? It is something that is programmed into us at birth. We hear our parents talking about it. We see everyone else doing it. It is expected of us in society that we have to work for money. We have to work to survive, to live on this planet. But that is just one of the foundational illusions of 3D. This is an old planetary agreement, an old collective agreement, but one that is really deep. The roots of this one run so, so deep that most of us can't even imagine not needing money. I mean, just take a second and just think about that. What would it look like if you had infinite money? Just a constant, never-ending supply. Most of us can't even fathom that. And it goes even farther if you think about not ever having to work. Only a handful of people on this planet have mastered that. And so this is something that is one of our foundational illusions. And it's really, in my opinion, one of the most insidious on the planet. This is one of the ones that gives us more grief than almost anything else. Although the aging and sickness template would be right up there as a close second. But today we're going to talk about the financial enslavement template and what you can do about it. So as I mentioned a moment ago, planetary templates are energies that we opted into just by being born on this planet. We agreed for a while to be bound by this agreement, this illusion. But we have now reached a point in our ascension process where we can opt out. We can hit the unsubscribe button. So essentially, some of these major planetary templates are now up for renegotiation. So we have the option now as lightworkers and starseeds to start removing our consent from these programs. But this is not an easy thing to do just because of the sheer size of these energies. And as humans, we are starting to really be over this template, right? So many people are just over even the concept of having a 9-to-5 job. We are reaching a point in our ascension journey where we realize absolute abundance is our birthright. we're starting to see that it's a little crazy on our planet that a few people have claimed to own the resources and sell it back to us. We think it's a little nuts. And that a few people claim to own most of our planet. How did that happen? They decided they did, and the rest of the collective went along with this. So this is part of what we're starting to see as a template that doesn't make sense for us anymore. Something we're not really interested in being part of anymore. And this is something that kind of confuses the star races when they look at humans, that we have bought into this, that we have been sold this story and we went along with it. But the good news is we don't have to do that anymore. We have now entered the fifth dimensional consciousness grid. It is stable, it is operational, we have full access to it. And with that, it means that we are now in an energetic grid where absolute abundance is our birthright. It is automatic. But we have to first pull our energy out of the old paradigm. And I talked in the last video, which I will link in the description, of what is involved in doing that, because these planetary templates are bigger energies than we're used to working with. So they require special tools. The normal tools we use in the spiritual community will not work on planetary templates. So the Ps have now started teaching these new tools. If you are interested in starting to remove your consent, to hit that unsubscribe button to some of these old human illusions. So we have a process for that. So check out that last video if you happen to have missed it. Because as we start to move more and more into fifth dimensional energies, we start to move into a new collective paradigm where we do what we love and we give it freely to the entire collective. That's how things work in many of the advanced civilizations in the higher realms. So say, for example, the Pleiadians have explained in their star system that the way societies operate is there is no work. There are no jobs. No one owns the resources. They belong equally to everyone. And so what people do is whatever they love. They follow their passion and give the results freely to the collective. So if you are an artist, you would do your painting or your sculpting and give your work freely to anyone who wanted it. If you loved working with plants, you would grow the food and you would share it freely with anyone who wanted it. This is the new paradigm that's now available to us as we start to remove ourselves from some of these old illusions. And the idea that we have to buy our resources back from other people is rapidly expiring. We are starting to look at that as a collective and go, absolutely not. So we are going through now a major renegotiation of this financial enslavement template, where we are realizing that this does not make sense to us. This is not our choice as humans to be enslaved through this financial system that has grown up on this planet over thousands of years to serve a few. But we are now in fifth dimensional energies where we can remove ourselves from that. So as ascending beings, we are starting to realize that some of these old planetary templates have absolutely expired. We're just saying no to them. Even if we don't know what planetary templates are, we're realizing that this whole work your entire life thing is a big charade. So many of us now are starting to break down this collective template of financial enslavement on this planet to help us return to a collective where everything belongs to the whole. Resources don't belong to anyone, they belong to all. And we're just starting to say no to that when some try to claim them for themselves. So we're just starting to say no to anything that isn't that new paradigm. So this is one of the major templates that we are in the process of breaking down right now. And you may see this as more and more people are just refusing to go along with it, as we start to realize that the resources belong to all of us equally. No one owns them. We are starting to realize that we are not willing to spend our entire life working to pay to live on this planet. People are just refusing to do it anymore. And as we do that, as we start to move into unconditional giving, where we are sharing ourselves freely, we start to create a collective that is based on that. So one way you can move yourself to this new paradigm is to start figuring out where can you give freely and unconditionally in your life. And this may be on a small scale. It doesn't mean you have to start doing this 24/7, every second of the day. But how can you give something unconditionally without expecting anything in return? Because as we do this, we start to make this the model of our new civilization, of our new collective paradigm. And we start to remove all of humanity from the weight of financial enslavement. So, very important topic, a very deep one. We're not going to go too much farther down the rabbit hole in today's video, but the P's are going to have more to say on this template and some of the other really big ones that are up for renegotiation right now. But check out that earlier video if you missed it, if you want to understand more about what planetary templates are and how we work with them and the tools that you need if you want to start unsubscribing to some of these major energies. Because a fascinating thing happens as you start to break down planetary energies in your own energy field. It's that you move to a world that doesn't have it. And you start to see your entire reality changing before your eyes. It is really a magical process, but it takes some new tools. So make sure you catch that last video. And as always, if you want some help with this and to work with the Pleiadians to learn all of these tools, just click the link in the description to work with me one-on-one. So that is what the P's had for us today. Let me know in the comments, what questions do you have for the Pleiadians? Drop that in the comment box. And while you're down there, don't forget, hit the subscribe button and the like button if you haven't done that yet. I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.